Hello everyone, JRDL96 here. Yes, I'm not dead. I'm still here. No, he did not get me. Again. No, that was just something that I really that was the thing that I've been working on for the last week and a half. The thing that I made it sound like that it was like old montage or whatever. But that was what it was. It may not be the greatest thing in the world. Um, it may not be great to like maybe on the level of like Mark or Jack, but I honestly worked really hard on what I had, just on what I had, and honestly, it was great. I thought it came out amazing. And if you really want to watch the because the thing is, I wanted to do it in my 5th compilation, and which I did. But when I was trying to export it, I was running into some issues with it too. Um, when I was trying to export it originally, it kept crashing before I even started exporting. It kept crashing, which it never happens. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I had to go make a different document in terms like with the editing software and create and just put it in, like put in the video and then export it, like just export it and then put it back in, and it still worked. But still, it still is kind of glitched out. Like especially with the end, with the subscribe outro is kind of still flickering like crazy, and some of the glitches were not that smooth when I did it. So if you want to see the actual video, I'll give you a link right now, and it's also going to be in the description down below, because I think you need to see it fully, because I really worked hard on it, and yeah, it may be, you might notice something in terms with the amount of eyeliner and makeup that I like. My makeup, my eye, the thing that goes under my eyes kind of grew and shrunk a few times because that was two separate days. That was 2 separate days. Now I'll explain the timeline right now. But we just got to get into a matchup right now, because I just love to talk. Whatever comes to my mind is just what I say. I can't help myself. But let me explain like the timeline of events. Like I remember when I first did my darker character, and here's the thing why I'm not saying his name is because how do you say it? Like that's the problem. Like look, I understand like it was JR Die 96. Maybe that's like the name I might use, but it's something that a fan came up with because I always wanted to have my own darker character, because I was really inspired by Antisepticeye and Darkiplier, and I really was into that. And I'm like, man, I'm into the darker character stuff. Let me come up with my own. And I'm like, well, maybe I have to have the name almost in a way like the whole how Markiplier has Darkiplier and how Jacksepticeye has Antisepticeye. I wanted to have it like in some aspect with my username. And one of my fans named Rachel came up with the name that is now used currently right now. It's still a work in progress, but so far I'm just keeping the name because some people are digging it. Yeah, probably like, yeah, you're probably gonna be thinking when you see the video itself, and you notice that my makeup shrunk and grew a couple times. You're probably gonna be like, well, why don't you just put on more makeup? Well, I'm sorry. And by the way, that was like the last time that that's the last time I will ever use that type of eyeliner. That eyeliner that I used was a pencil one. Was the pencil one, like the wooden pencil thing, like one that I used, because I remember when I first did the reenactments and stuff, back in April, like back in March, April. Holy shit! Feels like many. It feels like it was like a month or two ago that I started doing that. If now it's almost September, and the day of this video, which is funny, today on Monday is the first solar eclipse in the United States in a very very long time. I'm not sure exactly how long it's been since the last time the United States has had a solar eclipse happen, but yeah, hopefully I will be able to see it. I know based on my perspective where my location is in New York, it's not going to be the total eclipse. It's going to be like a partial eclipse. The total eclipse is going to be in Kentucky. So unfortunately, yeah, it sucks. But look, I've seen total lunar eclipses, and if you don't know what a lunar eclipse is, that's when the moon turns blood red, and because of it's pretty much like the Earth is eclipsing the sun. Like that's how it is. Like that's how weird it is. So the solar eclipse is when the moon blocks out the sun, and then a lunar eclipse is in a way the Earth blocking out the sun to the moon. Like it's weird. It's pretty much when the Earth pretty much eclipses the sun, and then because of the remaining sunlight that's in the atmosphere of the Earth, it will shine red on the moon. Yeah, I know it sounds weird, and I'm into that whole space and stuff like that, kind of like almost like Mark is. But hey, whatever. I'm into that stuff, and I think the Cassini mission is about to end in a month, so yeah, almost 20 fucking years. 20 years of Cassini. Well, you're probably thinking, well, 2004 is when it arrived at Saturn, but it launched in October of 1997, the Cassini spacecraft. It went to Venus and then went back to Earth, then to Jupiter, and then to Saturn. Like, it's crazy. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
You have on-scene command.
And you're probably thinking, what? Because Saturn is my favorite planet in the solar system. I'm pretty sure that's everybody's answer. And then my second favorite planet in the solar system is Pluto. And you're probably thinking, Pluto's not a planet anymore. It's a dwarf planet. But in my eyes, it's still a planet. Fuck the stupid IAU definition. The new definition terminology of what a planet is. The classification bullshit. That was the most annoying fucking thing I had to see. Seeing a planet that has been Pluto, a planet, be reclassified as a dwarf planet was just so heartbreaking to me. I'm like, dude, at least count the other ones as dwarf planets. Because the problem was other astronomers were discovering these these other celestial bodies that are beyond Pluto, even bigger than Pluto, like Eris and other ones as well. But that was the issue, and I think that's the reason why they had to do it, because that means, if you don't know what the planet's new terminology is one of them, it has to be a spherical shape, has to have a great orbit around the sun, and it has to clear the neighborhood of its orbit, which is the only thing that Pluto does not qualify. Why Pluto doesn't qualify as a planet? Because apparently the neighborhood is not clear enough for Pluto, when clearly Pluto is fine to me. Pluto is near the Kuiper Belt, which is like the farther out ring of debris from the formation of the solar system. I'm pretty much put someone to sleep right now because I guess they're not into the whole space like I am, or like Mark.
UAV inbound.
pretty much if Mark was talking about space, he'll probably just put everyone to sleep, and everybody's like, you remember that post-credit scene of Iron Man 3 where Tony Stark is talking about what happened, is talking to Bruce Banner about the events of the film itself, and then he fell asleep. That's pretty much what's happening right now. Pretty much I put somebody to sleep. The last thing this person said was, why don't you put on more makeup? What were we talking about? Oh, JR Die 96. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, whatever comes to my mind is what I say. I can't help it. Like, I always just jump to different topics and then stop talking about a specific topic that I was on originally. But it is what it is. Like, I can't help it. It's just something that I can't help myself to doing. Or if this person is making another edit of me or Dark or somebody else.
Hunter-killer drone deployed.
So the JR Die 96 character, I clearly remember,
UAV on standby.
I remember, how, yeah, you.
Friendly UAV
I
inbound.
really love, I'm into the whole darker character stuff. And that's why I wanted to create my own darker character, because I'm like, dude, this shit looks so doing this stuff has to be so much fun. I'm pretty sure that's what Mark and Jack probably say. But honestly, when I did it originally, which I'll also link, the birth of him, of JR Die. Yeah, it kind of sounds weird, but because here's this is so meta about which is my last name, which is Deal. I don't know what it is. Like, I get it. You don't know how to pronounce my name. Wow, I got a double kill right there. I get it. People don't know how to pronounce my last name. I've dealt with that for most of my life, and I understand. Like, look, it looks so complicated to pronounce, and I kind of correct them. Like, look, it's pronounced Deal, like deal and no deal, like the real deal, and that's pretty much like what my nickname would be, is Deal, which is the real deal. Like, I'm the real deal around here, so you better get used to it. That's one of the lines I wanted to use, and I thought that was the first line that I thought of when I originally did it. I'm like, alright, you gotta have something involving your last name. Say, I'm the real deal. Like, it sounds so cliche, excuse me, but I know it sounds cliche, but look, I thought that was the best thing to do. I don't know if that's impactful or whatever, like how Glitch Bitch is so impactful to people with Auntie's Return. And then with Darkiplier with his social manipulator, some of the lines like, I've been waiting a long time to see you again. I've been waiting patiently. He promised that he would let me in again. Like, those, like, I don't know if it's that impactful or quotable. Like I just see memes of Glitch Bitch all over the place now on the internet. I'm like, what the fuck? And here's the thing about that Glitch Bitch thing. And then I'll finally start really talking about my darker character. When I first heard Glitch Bitch, I thought he was referring to Dark. I'm pretty sure that's probably what everybody was saying. But then Jack's like, no, that's referring to what people were calling Auntie. I'm like, I don't recall anybody saying that. I honestly I don't recall anybody calling Auntie a Glitch Bitch. Like, never. All I kept seeing them calling him was Daddy. That was it. Daddy, my boyfriend, my imaginary boyfriend. My yeah, I know. I really look into the internet, and it's unfortunate that I do, and that's why I try to avoid it at all costs. I don't want to get poisoned that much by it. Auntie is my daddy, man. I know, like it's I know it's just weird, but I didn't just like that whole you found someone new. That other line that I also thought was a reference to Dark, but Jack is like, no, it's a reference to Jack. I'm like, how the fuck is that a reference to Jack? Seems so too coincidental based on the timing. Based on timing. Remember the whole thing with I clearly remember, right? October, the whole month of October, Auntie's first appearance, his debut, his birth. The birth of Antisepticeye. Months go by. February 4th, Valentine's Day comes in. A day when Markiplier comes out. Darkiplier makes his first canon appearance instead of just being in every fan's imagination and fan fictions. He became a legit fucking alter ego of Markiplier. And someone on Twitter tweets to Jack saying, whoa, looks like Darkiplier just one-upped you, man. And then, typical fashion, Jack responds as Auntie going with the Zalgo text, cheap imitator. The timing was just too coincidental because, obviously, the timing of that, because Darkiplier was just getting all the popular attention. Because Darkiplier was getting all the attention. That was why. That's why I will always, till this day, will still think it's a Darkiplier reference. I'm not, like, even though Jack said it's a reference to Jack, that kind of sounds stupid and it makes no sense. Because the timing was so perfect. Darkiplier was getting all the attention because after Auntie was getting all the attention for the last few months, Darkiplier comes in and just takes all that away from Auntie, and Auntie gets so pissed that he has to do that thing at PAX. And look what happened. He found someone new, someone to replace me. It just seemed too coincidental based on the timing of all that. So, I don't know, like, I'm hoping I'm not the only one that thought that, because, yeah, I think even Jack said when he was asked about it, he said, yeah, there was some people that thought that was a reference to Dark, and then he was like, no, it's a reference to Jack. I'm like, thinking to myself, what? That kind of makes no sense, because you gotta realize the timing of when you did that. Because Darkiplier was getting all the attention because of the Day with Markiplier video. He took all the attention away from Auntie. And then Auntie has to make that whole return at PAX. It just seemed too coincidental. It's just my opinion. Wait a minute. They didn't even reach 20 kills. That made no sense, but whatever. But, yeah. It just seemed too coincidental about that whole thing. And then the glitch bitch timing. Just the timing. The Darkiplier versus Antisepticeye video came out. Mocking me, yeah. And obviously, yeah, and then Mark had to be like, oh, we're not mocking them. We're not mocking them. And then, yeah. We could tell that it looks like a parody and almost like a fuck you to the fans, even though that's not what was intended. It felt like a fuck you because the fans always wanted to see like a legit battle between the two, not this freaking insult game and then have everyone and their mother with their own darker egos. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not what we asked for. But I'm not saying that I hated the video. I loved it. I loved it. It was awesome. But again, there was just that little thought in the back of my mind, like, was that really what we wanted? That was not what we wanted, but we'll accept it anyway. Like, it just felt to me like, it was great, but still, like, that's not what we asked for. That's not what we really asked for. I don't know, but anyways, back to the topic at hand, because I keep going off topic. I keep going, because I planned out originally, yeah, that guy tried to knife me there and he fucking failed. What the fuck, his body just went down, like, stopped in midair and it just went down, like, it was so weird. JRDI 96? Yeah, I think that's what we were talking about. Like, I remember when I first did it, I wanted to make I wanted to make like a, somewhat of a, not like an insult reference, a kind of like, look, the references that I made to Dark and I wanted to make like a, kind of like a little reference to both Dark and Anti, but not by name, and because I didn't want to step on the toes of the fandom, because you know how they are sometimes. But I wanted to make a nice little reference to them because, look, they're getting all the attention, where am I? Like, that's what my, like, here's the thing still, like, I don't have, like, he's not really fully fleshed out yet because he's still new to me. He's still a work in progress. But I know, like, I want to have, like, some kind of, like, basics and background on the character, like how Mark has a background check on Darkiplier, and how, because what I loved about, and this is probably one of my favorite, my favorite live streams Markiplier has done, charity live streams that he's done. It's because of them talking about Darkiplier, and I was really fascinated by the whole Darkiplier thing, because I remember seeing a lot of people talk, like, doing stuff and edits and stuff, and I remember when Mark was talking about who he is and everything, and when he said social manipulator, I was like, wow. Like, I remember when I first watched it, I'm like, no, he's trying to seduce me. He's trying to be nice and try to be like acting like a friend. He's trying to act like a friend, but he's kind of trying to hide this rage inside him. That was my first take. I'm like, he's trying to manipulate me into he's trying to manipulate me to trust him. He wants me to trust him by being seductive and manipulative. Like, that was my first thought about it. I don't know if Jack has like a full, like, I guess like a great like analysis on who Antisepticeye is, like the way how Markiplier has like a full background character background on Darkiplier, the way how he has that. Jesus. That was crazy. But overall, I think, yeah, that it's still a work in progress. Honestly, I'm just waiting for somebody to really give a cool background, because I want to at least use that and make that, try to get into that. Like, I knew, I know, I'm not asking, like, I know, I'm not saying that, like, I mean, like, how, you know how Mark has a description, like, knows, like, his take on Darkiplier. Like, he's a social manipulator. He admires what Mark has accomplished. Like Warfstache, he doesn't obey the laws of physics. He's like G-Man from Half-Life. He wants you to trust him. He has this burning rage inside of him. Like, but what is like that same like, at least like that kind of like a background check on Antisepticeye? all I know is that he's loud, he's maniacal, he's like the Joker, and this time he has the scars on his neck. And he's got those earrings or gauges, I think they're called. I'm not really sure exactly how to pronounce that. Gauges or gouges. Not gouges because that means gouging out your eyes. But hey, whatever. So the whole J.R. Dye thing, like I still don't know his whole like motivation, his demeanor, and how he is, what he is exactly. But I'm still working on him in a way. Try to work on it more because it was so fun. Like the only thing I did this time was put blood on my face as if that I've been through a rough I've been through rough times, and as if I am more like a psychotic person. Like that's the one thing that I am. I think like I remember someone said when I first did that in the Darkiplier t-shirt unboxing, how fitting, because Darkiplier, someone said, like one of my fans said that you kind of remind me, your darker character reminds me of Darkiplier and Anti, like a combination of the two. And they thought that it was refreshing. Like, look, that was not what I really intended to do, but I just remember I always wanted to do like a maniacal laugh, and it may not be the greatest laugh in the world, but when you do it with the Audacity voice editing software, it makes it more menacing. But if you guys want to see any BTS footage of the video itself, of the whole return itself, let me know in the comments down below, because I seriously, when I first heard my laugh after I did it, I was busting out laughing like, wow, that was fucking horrible. But then when I put it into Audacity, it sounded so more menacing. Like, wow, that impactful laugh. And some people were like, God, some people were like, Jesus Christ, you like, that's like a Joker laugh, and that's what I thought of. Like, I thought of the Joker. But anyways, I think I'm running out of time here, and I'm just gonna be bullshitting for just about my darker character for the last 20 minutes. I'm gonna try to continue that or whatever. Honestly, overall, yes, that's my darker character. He's still a work in progress. He's not fully fleshed out yet. Name not final yet. Motivation, his background, not finally, like, still a work in progress. You know what I mean? Because it's still new to me, and I really want to, the only thing that's final is his look. The whole red flannel, the freaking jester-like thing under his eyes, because some people said I looked like a jester, but more menacing, more of a serial killer, like, because what I thought I looked like, my inspiration for the look was the Crow, and Sting. That was my motivation about the look, Sting and the Crow. To have, like, because originally it was just like a little like round and then a little bit of a slit down to make it look like I was crying. That was like my original look. But then over time, I wanted to make it more, I guess, triangular. No, not really, but overall, I just wanted to make it like a triangle, and I don't know if that really changes it, because whatever, it is what it is, but it's still a work in progress. Anyways, I think I babbled on along enough for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, share this video with your friends. Be sure to check out my Instagram. I make cool edits of Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, even myself for some weird ass reason. I also do reenactments and stuff, and yeah. So until next time, JRDL96 signing out, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.